tangent lines. First of all, we need to know what is a tangent line. A tangent line is a line that just touches a curve at one point. It's got to match the curve's slope there. And that's pretty difficult to do because we need 2 points to make a line. And so if we had 1 point and we're trying to touch it at an x value, it's hard to know exactly how we should angle it to make it match that slope. And so what we're doing is we're going to have this what's called difference quotient to where we're actually doing a limit. And I should have had a limit in here. So let's rewrite this and say the slope of a tangent line is really the limit as h approaches 0. H is some number that is added to x, and it's the distance away from it horizontally, right? So what we've learned is we're taking a point and we want that point to be closer and closer and closer to that target x value. So essentially it's getting close to being like 0.00000001 away, right? It's like we're zooming in and trying to get 2 points really, really close together so that the slope there is more accurate. When they're farther away from each other, it's less accurate. It's just an average. And so we're doing the limit as that h value comes to 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. And I'm going to show you where that piece comes from. So we've got some point here at x, and then the y value there we're going to call f of x. So we got 1 point. We have another point at that x plus some h value. And then the y value of that point is f of x plus h. And then if we were to find slope of those 2 points, it would be my y2 minus my y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's where it happens to, or that's where we get f of x plus h minus f of x over x plus h minus x. And what happens to the x minus x? They cancel each other out. So that's why there's just h on the bottom. So this is just kind of a visual to show you this is the distance or the change in y's over the change in x becomes just h. So let's try one. For the function f of x equals 12x plus 11, find the slope of the tangent line at x equals -7. So we're trying to figure out what is the slope exactly at -7. We want our h value to get closer and closer to that number. So we're going to find the slope of the tangent line by taking the limit as that h value gets to 0. And then what I would like to do is take this and we're going to replace x with -7. So we'll have f of -7 plus h minus f of -7 all over h. So see how I took this and I just put -7 in for x. Then what we're going to do is use this function and plug these pieces in. So x will get replaced with things. Okay, so I'll rewrite this as the limit as h approaches 0, and then I'm going to take this -7 plus h, and it's going to get put in for x. So this would be 12 times -7 plus h, then plus 11. So see how this function's exactly the same, but I plugged this in. So I'm doing that. Then minus f of -7 says to take this -7 and put it in x here. So minus, and I'm going to do brackets, 12 times -7 plus 11. And if you want, you could put brackets around this to show that this went together. So this is this piece, this is this piece, and then this is all divided by h. And so now we need to simplify this. 12 times -7 would be -84 plus 12h plus 11 minus 12 times -7 is -84 plus 11 over h. -84 plus 11 would be -73, right? But then this negative times this negative would make it positive. So I really got -84 plus 12h plus 11 plus 73 over h. Well, I know that negative 84 plus 11 is negative 73. And that negative 73 and that positive 73 would cancel each other out. So I have 12h over h. H divided by h can cancel itself out. And so really I'm ending up with an answer of 12. So what is the slope at negative 7? It's 12. All right, number 2, same thing. We've got a new function of negative 4x squared plus 10x minus 6. Find the slope of the tangent line at x equals 8. So the first thing I would do is write the slope of my tangent line is equal to the limit as h approaches 0. And I'm going to use that difference quotient to say f of my x is 8 plus some h number minus f of 8 all over h. Then I'm going to replace x first with 8 plus h everywhere, and then I'm going to replace it with just 8. So I would have negative 4 times 8 plus h squared plus 10 times 8 plus h minus 6. So all of that really just went with this first function in replacing x with 8 plus h. Then I have minus f of 8. Now something you could do here is just go ahead and figure out what f of 8 is. All that means is what is the ordered pair when x is 8, what is y? And so you could just plug that in. It'd be negative 4 times 8 squared plus 10 times 8 minus 6. I got a negative 182. So really I'm plugging in a negative 182 here. You would get that same thing if you wanted to just write 8 in it. It just takes up less room. Divided by h. Clean this up. Oh, clean this up a little bit. We don't want to distribute first. We have to square this. Remember the shortcut, we square the first term, so it'd be 8 squared 64. We multiply what's in here, 8h, and then we double it, 16h, h squared. So that's just a shortcut to foiling. All that's going to get times a negative 4. We can distribute the 10, so it'd be 80 plus 10h minus 6 minus a negative turns into plus 182 over h, and this is all still the limit as h approaches 0. I'm going to distribute negative 4 times 64 is negative 256. Negative 4 times 16 is negative 64h, and then minus 4h squared plus 80 plus 10h minus 6 plus 182. Must need more room. All right, now I'm going to put everything in order. So let's start with our h squareds. We've got, looks like a negative 4 h squared. And then my h's, I have negative 64h plus 10h. And so that would be negative 54h. And then I'm going to put all these constants together. That would be negative 256 plus 80 minus 6 plus 182. And that all cancels out. It made 0. Whoop. So I get everything with h in it. Well then, I need to factor out an h. So I'm probably not going to keep writing limit right here because I'm running out of room. Factor out an h. And can we take out... I don't need to take out that. I can factor out an h, or you can just think it's h squared divided by h. So that'd be just an h to the first power. This would be h divided by h. They'd cancel. And so really I get negative 4h minus 54. because I took these away. And then what you want to do is just direct substitution. H is going to 0, so we're just going to put a 0 in here. Negative 4 times 0 would be 0 minus 54 would be negative 54. So at x is 8, there's a slope of negative 54.